You can build an entire unique Esper combo deck for below 50 bucks. Let's talk about that in another installment of Think Outside the Deck Box. This is Queza, Augur of Agonies for 1 and Esper. So white, blue, and black. You get a Cephalid Advisor, a 3/4 creature that says whenever you draw a card, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And this deck can be built pEDH, but actually by restricting yourself with some budget and rarities, you can even build a fully fledged out pEDH deck, which obviously you can always upgrade to be even stronger, and everything for below 44 euros. If you don't mind condition, language, and ignore the shipping costs. I split the deck into different categories with ramp removal and card draw. Then we have some Recursion, Blink, and Tutor cards here, as well as the land pile. And this deck has several combos in it, even in the different categories. Even the ramp pile has some ramp in it, and actually even one of the lands is one of the combo enablers. So stick around and look at all the piles with me. Let's look at Dark Ritual. For 1 you get 3 mana. Classic inclusion into any black deck that wants to be a little stronger. We have Springleaf Drum. I sorted the pile by mana value, so nothing too exciting here. Wayfarer's Bauble, already known. Expedition Map to get the land, maybe the combo land out of the deck, but maybe we sometimes need a removal land or one of the double lands. Here we have High Tide, which is one of the combo cards already in this deck that will allow you to recast it multiple times with the Recursion pile here and get your lands to create an infinite amount of mana at some point. Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, Dimir Signet, Orzhov Signet, you get the gist. Felwar Stone, just classic ramp cards. We have Mind Stone here to draw us a card later on. Thought Vessel for no maximum hand size, since we're actually going to draw a whole bunch of cards throughout the game, dealing multiple instances of damage or life drain in this case, which is also a legit way that this deck can win if we don't combo faster. Walking Atlas to ramp us ahead a turn further. Black Familia allows our blue spells to cost less and can regenerate itself, so a solid blocker also while we assemble the combo pieces. And here are 2 ramp cards, the Cloud of Fairies and the Peregrine Drake, both of them when they enter untapped lands. And if you have lands like these double lands, Azorius Chancery, you even get more mana out of them. And if you're able to, well, blink them, let's say infinitely, you could already create an infinite amount of mana. So keep that in mind while we look at the rest of the deck. Next up, removal. We have, I think Confounded is in English, which counters a spell that has 1 or more creatures as targets. And there are, as you've seen already, some important creatures like the Drake, maybe even our commander if we want to deal infinite damage. And we can protect them with Confounded, even draw a card so it replaces itself even better. Counter spell, just hard counter any spell. Arcane Denial, we could actually also counter our spell to draw 3 more cards and deal 3 more damage, gaining 3 more life. Keep that in mind. Dispel, just 1 mana instance. Counter spell, Daze will cost us most of the time 0 mana, and counters a spell that might be pesky. Graveyard Hate, and also card draw stapled onto 1 card. Feed the Swarm to also be able to deal with enchantments. You could also put a Disenchant in there, for example. Then I thought we don't mind losing some life, and yeah, you can replace it with any other card if you don't think that white should have this card included in the deck. Resculpt exiles a artifact or creature, and keep in mind this is a pEDH deck, so many of the removal cards are, let's say, worse than you would normally include, so all of the cards have to be commons in this deck. But as I said at the beginning, you can always upgrade this deck. So this is the baseline. You can build a fully fledged out pEDH, pauper EDH deck and still beat everyone up and leaving them in awe, because you only used commons as and an uncommon as a commander. But if you don't get upgraded, sure, go for it. Snuff Out costs normally 0 mana, because we usually have a swamp on the battlefield and then it just straight up destroys a non-black creature. This, even if you want to go lower budget, you could replace, maybe even go below 20 bucks. Witness Protection, great card in my opinion, enchants a creature and it becomes a 1/1 legitimate business person that has no other abilities. Vendetta, great removal in Pauper. Dark Withering, another great removal if we're gonna discard a couple of cards, which will happen throughout the game. We have Just the Wind, also a great bounce card for just 1 blue mana. We have a Snap here, which also untaps lands. Capsize is another combo piece. If we go infinite mana, we can infinitely bounce the entire board at instant speed, leaving our opponents with nothing. You pass the turn, well, you haven't beaten them up yet. But if they play a land, you just go infinite mana again and capsize their played land right away. Deem Inferia. This is another interesting bounce spell because most of the time you will just pay 1 blue for it, because we are gonna draw a whole bunch of cards throughout the game, and then you put any non-land permanent on the bottom or top of the library of an opponent's choice, second from the top or bottom. And then Marauding Black Priest is just another great synergy card with Queza, and I thought, well, player removal is also removal, so why not include it into this category? And this deck I actually showed in a video where I showed off all of my decks that I kept throughout the years, and I noticed I showed this one, and was like, I'm gonna do this video here. And it's now 8 or 9 months that I put up the deck list of this deck. And, well, now I'm here. I'm giving you the fully fledged out deck tech of this video. So I kept my promise, and you know, there's no better time than now to subscribe to Cardboard Tutor if you enjoy this deck and video. Do let me know in the comments which other cards you would have included in such a unique Esper Pauper deck. We have Obsessive Search. If we discard it, it costs 1. Or otherwise it costs 1, just draws a card. Ponder to make sure that the order of the deck looks nice, and if it isn't and the top 3 are just trash, we just shuffle it, draw a card. Night's Whisper, now we go into the draw 2 cards, lose 2, draw 2, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2, Frantic Search, draw 2, discard 2, and then untap up to 3 lands. If we have more mana producing lands, even better. Deep Analysis draws 2 cards, later on draws another 2 cards by losing 3 life, we don't mind. Muldrifter draws 2 cards, when we evoke it, it just dies, otherwise we have a 5 mana 2/2 flying creature. This is a beautiful Brainstorm here, draw 3, and then you put 2 back on top of the library. Treasure Cruise usually costs 1 blue to draw 3 card, Ancestral Recall with some Delve ability. Lorien Revealed, either a tutor card to tutor up for an island card, and we play a couple dual lands here, Pauper dual lands, otherwise later on it draws you 3, Siphon Mind. Could be removal, but most of the time it will also draw you 3 cards, which is great. Then we have a couple of wheels that are Pauper legal. We have Flux. Everyone is able to choose if they want to discard their hand, and there are an equal amount of cards. And then it even replaces itself because it tells us to draw a card afterwards. Tolarian wins. Then you discard your hand and draw that many cards. Willpower Rider shuffles all your cards into your library, and then you draw that many cards, and is also a blocker. I find that a nice creature. Then we have 3 cards that are very similar: Burying 100,000 Arrows, Theft of Dreams, and Keep Watch. And the latter, the Keep Watch, is the best one of them because it is at instant speed and says just attacking creatures. These 2, the other 2 on the right here, Theft and Burrowing, both say you draw a card for each tapped creature. Could also be better, like a couple of Mana Dorks won't draw you cards with Keep Watch, but I always like instant speed better than sorcery speed. But all of them have the possibility to draw your whole hand full. Even if you're not attacked or haven't been attacked, you can draw, let's say, like 10 cards if there's a big token player on the battlefield. So keep that in mind and you will draw the combo pieces you need to finish out the game. Speaking of combos, Whispers of the Muse is another combo card that lets you draw an infinite amount of cards with buyback if you are able to create 6 mana. If you have infinite mana, you draw enough cards to finish out the game. Let's say with Queza you will drain every player out. Now we have several recursion creatures here, which is the Archaeomancer at first, that when it enters brings you back a instant or sorcery card out of your graveyard. Most of the time it will be one of the blinkers here, which we're going to look at a moment, but it could also be the Capsize, Whispers of the Muse, cards like that that finish out the game. Could also be one of the tutors, you'll see in a moment. Mnemonic Wall, similarly, all of these have this effect that when they enter, they give you an instant sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. The Shipwreck Dowser also has prowess, so these are great targets for blinking. And there's a great way. Speaking of blinking, we have Cloud Shift, blink a creature and return it under your control again. Ephemerate blinks twice in your upkeep again. Then we have Momentary Blink, which has also flashback to blink. All of these can also be used as protection. Someone targets your, let's say, Peregrine Drake, wants to destroy it, and you just blink it and get the trigger right away again. We have Ghostly Flicker, which is actually one of our combo pieces, because if we are able to cast this over and over again with, let's say, Peregrine Drake and one of the Archaeomancer effects, we can now blink both of them infinitely, giving us Ghostly Flicker back to our hand and create an infinite amount of mana. This is one way this deck can win. Similarly, Displace, though it is a little bit worse because Ghostly Flicker can also flicker our lands, and we'll see in a sec why one of our lands is very important, and Prismatic Strands to just be able to protect either from a lethal attack from one color, or maybe we want to protect some damage that one of our more important creatures would take. Now, quickly let's look at the tutors, and I hope you enjoyed this video. All of these tutors have Transmute. So that means you pay 3 usually and discard this card, not at instant speed, sorcery speed, and then you look for a card that has similar mana cost. So this one, for example, could tutor up High Tide or Whispers of the Muse for being able to start a combo. We have Perplex. 90% of the time we will not use it as a counterspell, but again as a tutor for being able to tutor up something for 3 mana. So that one could get us, for example, the Ghostly Flicker. You can sort the entire deck list. I put it in the description, obviously, as I do with all my videos when I talk about my deck techs. We can sort the entire deck list by mana costs and see which cards you can always tutor with each of these Transmute cards, and there will always be a good target, be it removal, ramp, card draw, one of the combo pieces. You always have a useful target for these. Again, another 3 mana tutor. Another 4 mana tutor? No, this one lets you tutor up an instant card or something with flash. I don't think we'd play anything with flash, but an instant card. So again, a Ghostly Flicker tutor, but also Whispers of the Muse could be tutored up, or High Tide, again, which is also at instant speed. This also has flashback, so we can use it twice. 4 mana tutor could tutor up for a Chaomancer, for example. And lastly, Brainspoil will tutor up for the other 3 Archaeomancer cards or the Peregrine Drake. And now let's look at the ramp cards, because there's also one combo piece in here, and then I do want to hear you in the comments. We play all of these double lands that produce twice as much mana as all the other mana. This is our combo land, the Mystic Sanctuary, if we're able to flicker it with Ghostly Flicker. And let's say, for example, the Muldrifter that you saw earlier. These 2 cards are being blinked, the top 2. We can put the Ghostly Flicker back on top of the library and draw 2 cards with Muldrifters, say the Ghostly Flicker and the next card. This, if we have infinite mana, will win us the game, draining our opponents infinitely, drawing us infinite cards. You see where this is going. Then we play Bojuka Bog, which is another great card to be tutored up with Expedition Map if we need removal, if we have a graveyard heavy opponent. All of these are cycling lands to draw us a better card if we don't need them. These are the great 3 dual lands that we can play in here. You could also play the snow-covered ones if you wanted to. These were enough in my opinion. Ancient Spring is a great one. If you want to be a little bit stronger with this, you can sack to get 2 mana out of it. We have Ascura, Storefront to get any of the basic lands that we play, Command Tower, and then I do want to hear from you in the comments, 3 planes and a whole bunch of islands. Which cards would you have included in such a Queza pEDH combo deck? Do keep in mind we only want to see comments in the comments below. Do help this channel out to reach the 2,000 subscriber goal by subscribing to Cardboard Tutor. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment, a like, all of the great stuff, shared with your friends and family and enemies. And if you want to get this unique Cardboard Tutor playmat, which is the Dandan version, which will go away beginning of April and be swapped out with a different artwork, do consider becoming a cardboard curator and a YouTube membership member, and I will send this playmat right to your doorstep. And by the way, this was video number 500, just to let you know. So thank you. Thank you for all your support. This is an amazing journey that we're on here, and I'm really looking forward to reaching our 2,000 subscriber goal, hopefully this year. I wish you a beautiful day. Happy Nowruz if you are celebrating it, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.